So that's just a little taste of what we've been up to for last year. Not quite finished, but we're hoping it'll come along pretty quickly from this point on. So, yeah. So there's just a couple other aspects of the project that I wanted to cover before I start taking questions. One of them is the font work we've been doing. In the last year, we found an amazing font artist, and we began recreating all of the in-game handwriting that you find so that we can do the journals and that sort of thing. These fonts are vector-based, so they stay really nice and crisp at extremely high resolution, so hopefully we can future-proof a little bit. And they're pretty much completely accurate to the original game. We're obsessive about detail, so this is the Atris font, and we have the beginnings of the Gen font. Not quite finished yet, but there are those characters. And then the other thing that we want to talk about is localization. We would like for our game to be playable by as many people as possible, and with that in mind, we are translating the game. We're using the Gulp project, which was started by OHB, who's not here this year, but he's been awesome in granting us access to this thing. It was originally intended for translating Uru, but he's since added project pages for Riven. There are over 60 languages on Gulp, and basically it works by you guys log in and put in translations for languages that you speak. So we already have these 6 languages, or these 5, almost complete. They just need a little more push to get all the way there. That's 8. That's 8. I can count. I go to art school. And this is the URL for that. Yeah, I have an affinity for 5. So yeah, I mean, if you speak a language besides English and would like to help out, basically if you want to play Riven in your own language, it's kind of up to you. So, yeah. That's it for us. I'd love to take your questions if you have any. This is our URL if you want more information or to follow along for updates. We're also on Facebook and Twitter, so you can find us there. If anyone has questions. I can't really see you.
Well, the first question is, are you running that demo on a standard Windows PC, not super powered or anything?
This machine is pretty powerful, and it was sort of so-so. It normally runs better. I think outputting to the projector is hurting it a little bit. And we haven't actually optimized anything yet. This is still like full quality everything, no effort put in to try to make it run faster. So we're anticipating that it'll be much smoother than what you just saw, and that it will be able to run on normal computers. That said, Unreal 4 is a next-gen engine, and we are anticipating to be releasing, a couple of years down the line. So what is a normal computer then might be more of a high-powered computer now. That's sort of up for debate.
Hang on just a second. When someone asks a question, please repeat it.
Yeah, okay. I'll repeat the next one.
Will there be a day-night cycle? And if so, how is that going to integrate with puzzles?
So the question was, is there going to be a day-night cycle, and if so, how will that integrate with our puzzles? So we've, in the past, we've demoed Prison Island with having a real-time day-night cycle. I'm not going to go into full detail now because we're actually planning a post about this in the next couple of weeks, but for the time being, we've actually decided to not include a dynamic day-night cycle for a number of reasons, most of which are art-based and puzzle-based. We don't want to make the game any harder than it already is, and we are afraid that that might happen. But like I said, there will be more detail about that coming in the next couple of weeks. Hey.
Any word on the beta?
Any word on the beta? No. Someday.
Who else?
I have a quick one, but I'm right here, so you can hear me. Do you have any plans to either release the fonts or also include like alternate characters to make them seem more handwriting-esque?
So the question was, are we going to release the fonts, and are we going to include other characters to make them seem more handwriting-ish? The first part, we haven't entirely worked out yet, and there will be more information forthcoming soon. We would love to release them, of course, because they're awesome and want people to use them. The second part, we are absolutely planning on including multiple characters. I think it was the letter E in the Atris font. There's at least 3 different variants, and we're working on ways to get all of those in. And then also, the Atris font, I think I said it was complete. I meant it's complete for English. We're working on adding accented characters and that kind of thing for the localization, because those two go hand in hand. So once it's totally done, and we have other things worked out, we may be able to release it. We'll see.
One second.
You guys are busy with the actual product, but you have some really beautiful setups going. I wondered if you think about doing some alternate time of day beauty renders just for fun.
You mean like the one that we're currently
Yeah,
showing? Yes. We think that day and night is awesome. We really like Prison Island at nighttime, and we are not intending to fully abandon it. It just isn't necessarily going to be in the actual game itself. We're not saying we'll never do anything like this picture again, because this picture is beautiful and we like it, and we're going to release it as wallpaper once this is over. So, yeah.
Are you thinking about sneaking any of your own Easter eggs in, or just staying here to the original game?
The question was, are we going to put our own Easter eggs in, or are we going to stick to the original game? I think there's another part to that, just are we going to put the original Easter eggs in the game? And all of that, I will say, maybe. Stick around.
There's a couple questions from the chat. I'll jump in here with them. First off, somebody asked, on a related note to the day-night cycle, will there be bad weather?
Should I repeat that?
Yes.
Okay. Will there be bad weather in the game? For the time being, I'm going to say no, but maybe. Our main thing is we're going to try to finish the game as it originally was first, and then think about, are we going to add other stuff? Just because it's already such a kind of a gargantuan project.
And then I've got one other one, which I'm sure you'll love, is when are you going to be done?
When are we going to be done? Someday, when it's done. A couple more years, I don't know. Yeah. Soon. Tomorrow. Yeah.
3 more questions.
I imagine because we don't have an actual 3D world to base every scene off of, how challenging is it to deal with areas you may not have a direct angle to look at and do yourself?
So the question was, how do we deal with areas where we can't actually get a very good view of what the original objects look like? And that is definitely a big issue for us, because the original images are so tiny and you can't walk everywhere and that sort of thing. So in some cases, it's just sort of the artist gets to say what they think it is. So, like for example, I can go to, that's going to take longer than I thought. Well, the back of the sub, you never really see what's behind you when you're sitting there. So we sort of got to say, well, we think it looks like this, and all right. But for other things, we sort of scour the internet for resources. The From This to Ribbon book is awesome for that sort of thing, and just every sort of promotional image that's ever been released, we have it stockpiled somewhere. All of the behind-the-scenes footage, everything, and we go through everything and try to find everything we can that'll help.
So what is your typical process for asset creation? How long does it take? How many people work on one model? Maybe is it a pipeline? Do people pick one thing they want to work on? All
Right.
that.
So the question was, what's our typical pipeline like for creating assets? Generally, we as an overall group, we pick an area that we're going to focus on, and then we sort of divide that up into all of the different things that need to be done. We use a product called Trello for that, where we can just make a whole bulletin board full of everything. And then basically just each person picks what they want to do, and then they just make a whole asset. Usually it's one artist does one whole area. So like the schoolhouse was all one person sitting right behind me, and the submarine is all one person and that sort of thing. And then in terms of making sure it's accurate and that kind of stuff, we have an awesome system of triangulation, camera matching, that sort of thing, so that we know the settings for the original renders, and we can sort of set the same thing up in Maya and then just make sure that everything is in the exact same spot and is the exact same shape and looks the same, so it's all the same proportions, the same size, the same location. And in the case of the sticks, it's like every single stick is accurate to its original position, that kind of thing. We're obsessed with that detail. So. Yeah. You guys have anything I should say? I'm not the one doing most of the art, so these guys are the ones that you should really talk to.
Read that one right over there, and then any other questions they can ask.
Yeah, I'm around. Please come talk to me.
How are you handling animations? Are you going to use some of the original QuickTime or whatever, or are you re-rendering?
We're intending to do everything in real-time 3D, similar to the villager in the hut that you just saw. That's sort of our first attempt to do a person, and it's only going to get better from there. But we want everything to be this same quality, so it all looks like a cohesive world, pretty much. The original QuickTime files are just too low resolution and that sort of thing for them to be useful, unfortunately.
Thank you, Sid.
Thank you guys.
We found a tube with a bunch of posters in it, sitting over there in the other building, and we're just trying to figure out who it belongs to. And I wonder if it's not the committee itself, because it says 20 signed, 5 written posters, 30.
It's one poster, and that was the price on the side.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we have 1 signed one written poster, 2 soundtracks, and they bought a few other things, but no one's missing their posters, are they? Well, they will be in the back, if no one claims them. And now we're going to have unwritten